Huh? It's always good when they get to see. It's a live show. Anything can happen in a live show, okay? I'm saying, right? Wait till they get a load of me. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy holidays. And 2026 is going to be nice. Don't worry. You know it's true because it came out of my face. What? R8RBEAR! Woo! Oh, that one had some energy in it. Let's go. Assaltante Oso. That bear you all know. Out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. No, I'll show you that. I'll show that to you guys later. Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that fool with no hair. Woo! That shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The R8RBEAR! R8RBEAR! All right, fam. What's up? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in to R8RBEAR and R8RBEAR Live. I'm your host, R8RBEAR. It's a lot of R8RBEARs. You can find it on Amazon. It's just a couple bucks. Make the Raiders great again. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. But first, tradish! R8RBEAR Live. First comment. MVP tonight goes to John the Lion. Leon. Always catching L's, but it's always love when it's John the Lion. Leon. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Our gold medalist tonight. Second place. My silver medal goes to the champion of the world, Mark, that 5-emoji making son of a gun, Vargas. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Appreciate the love, brother. Always good to see you. Much. Look at all those R8RBEARs. Look at all those bears. Third place, my bronze medal goes to, and this one was close. Ho, ho. It's a big dog. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, out of the kennel and on the show. What's up, brother? Don't you know? And honorable mention to my good friend, Bob Stannard. Not his wife, Casey. No. I like all my Raider Nation wives, but she is in the pickle dog house with me right now. SA Big Dog, make a little room in the doghouse there. Facebook! Ooh, the rivalry is reignited. Carlos! Boykins! What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, my longtime reigning, defending champion of the world. Second place, my silver medal. Side-eyeing Carlos Boykins like nobody's business. Lucky Pace! LP. You sultry sounding son of a gun. Look what are we doing here? You cannot keep going out like this. You have got to keep your phone right in front of you, be on Facebook, and as soon as my alert comes up, you got to be ready to go, man, like bionic thumbs, because Carlos Boykins ain't playing. He ain't trying to give up that title. Third place, my bronze medal goes to my head of security, my new head of security, I should say, Handsome Joe Holman. See, I dubbed him Handsome Joe Holman to throw people off. They'll think he's nice when he's breaking their necks or knees. Well, let's go with knees. I don't want to get any, federal charges. You catching a body. Honorable mention to Corinna Trujillo, a benefactor of this show, though. And I would like to ask all of you to consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page. Now, you can find me on Patreon. You can find me right here on Facebook, and you can subscribe either way, and you can help support the show and help us to get new lighting and cameras and programs and pay for these apps and all this other stuff that I have to take care of. And on YouTube, if you would, just right down there, if you should enjoy the show, please subscribe and hit that like button for me. It helps me with the algorithm to get out in front of some of these other jokers. Jim Garrison, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Mike Henderson in the house. DPC. David. No. David, I can't do it because you didn't win a medal. But I can do this. I can show you what I brought out just for you in case you won. Look at that. I brought out the Damascus. Huh? I'm saying, you see that sawback? It's got an edge on it too, man. This thing is so sharp. It's crazy. Look at that. Look at that Damascus pattern. Tell me you've seen one better than that. I haven't. It looks like tiger steel, like tiger stripes. I love that thing. And my daughter got that for me. That was one of my Christmas gifts. Isn't that cool? She knows her father. Her father. All right. Jorge Pietro, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. What's up right back, brother? Oh, I like that cup. That's my boy right there. Troy Gill, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Mike Henderson and Corinna Trujillo. My bell's getting ready to fall. See, you guys have been giving so many coins my last couple of shows that you're breaking my bell. I'm just kidding. I wish that were true. Crazy Squirrel in the house. What's up, Will? Welcome to the show. All right, so we'll get to business. I just want to say hi to a couple other people. Daryl Neal, how you look? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Long live the Raiders. I love that. Happy New Year right back to you, Troy Gill. I appreciate the love. Dwayne Cowan, how you doing? Where you been? Haven't seen a live in a minute. I know, right? Dwayne, I just been off and on, a little bit sporadic. But now that the off season's here, I'll probably be on quite a bit more often. I kind of like working the off season stuff. Obviously, there's no off season technically. We Raider fans, we Raider all year. Long off season, on season, doesn't matter. We're Raider fans. We wear our gear. So, it's no off season to me. So I don't stop my show. Like you'll see a lot of other shows, they're shutting it down. I don't do that. Eric Bell, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Raider Bear. Now, Eric, that's the kind of bear if I was naked. That's only for Mama Bear. Raider C-Dub, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. MVP is the most versatile player in the league. Okay, I like that. James Walker, what's up? Family in the house. Hi, Princetta. Okay, we need to draft every Indiana player available in the draft and bring in the coach. Will Nanoff says there's chatter from some of the other talking heads that say more over Mendoza. We get to see them this week play in the CFP. The college football playoffs. Now, I would say to you, I don't care about that, though. I don't care about that. You have to look at measurables, their assets and their skill set. It's not what you see on video. Both quarterbacks look good on video. So how do you really discern between the two? You have to account for some of those things that you can't put statistical numbers on. For example, just physical size. Okay, Mendoza weighs more and he's taller. Okay, now I'm not saying he's faster, but their 40 times are pretty similar. So that's kind of a wash as far as foot speed. But I'm all about Mendoza. I said it quite a long time ago. It was like 3 months ago, I told you they weren't going to bring Pete Carroll back, but I was positive it was over for Pete. They were not going to let him finish his second year. I was right about that. There's a couple other things I gave you guys that now, if you look back, you'll see I was right about most of it. Raider Miguel says, Bear, Pete Carroll being fired, one and done. Is this good or bad? Well, there's no way to determine good or bad right now. But what we can determine is that Tom Brady is going to be responsible for everything moving forward. Let me repeat that statement. The man who ruined our dynasty, the man who inadvertently took the tuck rule and then went on to win multitudes of championships, left us as a broken team trying to find itself, get there in 2001. Then our coach sabotages us just because he hates the owner, goes to the Bucs and beats us because he knows all our plays. While John Lynch and Warren Sapp on video say, we knew everything they were doing. John Gruden got us ready. And that's who some of you guys want back, that a-hole. Short memories. Not me. I have a long memory. And I know his record too, and it isn't good. In John's time with us, he wasn't that good. He wasn't. You can think he was, but he wasn't. It was mostly about his sneering, and he did win a handful of games, and so we liked him because he won a handful of games, but that's... Now, as far as the Pete Carroll thing, when Ben Johnson was available as a head coach, the offensive coordinator, for the Detroit Lions, Tom wanted him bad, and he lost out. Now, when he lost out on that, he then settled on Pete Carroll, gave him a 2-year deal. But the 2-year deal was only based on whether he won in the first year. And then Tom was going to try to work around him. Tom also liked Kelly, the offensive coordinator that we fired, Chip Kelly's offense, and thought that he could put his own twists on it with Chip, and that Pete would just take that. And Pete wasn't cool with that. He wasn't cool with not really having any power other than over the players themselves, but not his own coaching staff. That's not cool. Because if your coaching staff knows you can't fire them, it's kind of hard to act like you're the authority above them when you're not. It was all Tom. That's what sabotaged our entire season. Now, fast forward, he's going to get rid of all this stuff. Probably going to let most of our coaching staff go too. Now, let's get to the real one in the room. Corinna True. Hello twice, though. Love you, girl. Okay, so let's get to the real question at hand. Is Max Crosby going to leave the Raiders? And I'm quite confident that the answer is no. He will not leave the Raiders. Now, is there a chance, though, he won't be a Raider next season? Yes, there is. Because Tom may see him the same way John Gruden saw Khalil Mack, as a very high tradable asset. And let's be honest, Max, even though he's not better than Khalil Mack, he's worth more right now because of his age and the stats he's already put up. So if you put together the stats he has and the fact that he's still young and relatively injury-free, you're going to have to pay for that. That's going to be a couple of first-round picks, or maybe a first, a second, and third, or something crazy. That kind of thing. But it's gonna take some stuff. Now, if you do that and add that to the fact that you're getting your quarterback. Now, the only reason why I think we'll be able to keep Max is because we're going to be able to get our quarterback regardless. Had we not won the number one pick, we would have moved off of Max to get the number one pick. I firmly believe that. But now, because we don't have to move, and we haven't been moved off the first, I shouldn't say it that way. We haven't been moved off of the first round pick. So because we have it secured, now he can, now I can keep Max and try to find someone coming out of school to butt end with him and, destroy quarterbacks from either side. And I'm hoping and praying that, that Tom's that smart. Because to me, that's the smartest way to go. If you let go of Max, now the defense becomes a whole nother rebuild. It's going to be so much harder. And there's a reason why Max is so special, because Max Crosby's are very, very hard to find. Very hard. Okay? I'm just telling you that there's a lot of guys out there that play that position, but they don't get you 10 plus sacks. They get you 4, maybe 6, something like that. And that's if you're lucky. You know what I mean? You don't land on TJ Watts every day. You know, hell, even Jadeveon Clowney over the long term has started to build a career for himself to a certain extent. I don't think he's going anywhere. Jeremy McCrary, what's up? Would you like the Raiders to draft Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick? In the end, I would rather Nation. Yes, Jeremy, I would, honestly. I think he's shown enough. I'm down with it. David, is that not the dopest Damascus? I mean, it's not a sword or anything, but look at that pattern jump off the steel. It kills me. And I wish there was some way I could show you how sharp this is, man. But it's crazy. I don't have any paper at my desk, or I would do it. Sup Bear 209 in the house. We are undefeated for 2026. And I guarantee we will be undefeated until at least September. Appreciate that, Jerry. BMW strategy. I'm a Charger fan. Got a question for the Raider Nation. Who do you want to see succeed more, the Bolts or the Broncos? I think did the Bolts make it? I wasn't paying attention to them. I know the Broncos are in. I don't really root for other AFC teams. It's too much of a rivalry to me. You know what I mean? And then I would vote for other California teams, so that would kind of bring the Niners into the equation. But then we hate the Niners. I went to all the Niner rivalry games, so I can't go there. So no, I don't really have. I don't have anyone in this playoffs that I give a damn about. Put foots in them. Bear, who's the better quarterback, Moore or Mendoza? Who do you pick? I'm with Mendoza, and I know most of you already know that now. I'm just answering the question for whoever might have just come in the room, but I like Mendoza. I really do. I feel like he's a clear number one because of his physical tools. There's something to be said to being 6'5" as opposed to 6'1". And we all know, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we all know measurements are always skewed up just a little bit to make guys seem taller. So I would not be surprised if Moore is just barely like 6 foot. He's Wes Watson at 6 foot. Anyone that knows Wes Watson, that was a funny joke. He's always complaining to people about how he's actually 6 foot, and he's not. He even has those like rubber inserts on the back of his shoes inside, so it lifts his foot up so he gets higher, almost like he's in a woman's high heel. It's so embarrassing. Oh, I didn't know that, Mark Vargas. He already said he's not coming out? Okay, well, then it's definitely Mendoza. Sure. Broncos are better than the Bolts. The Bolts will be one and done. Yeah, I would agree. But then again, though, I don't know that the Broncos are consistent enough for them to really be a winner. Peggy, go sit down. Damn your team. Your quarterback's still a jerk, and even you know that. Breeze Raider Nation, what do you think about Kurt Kubiak? Offensive cool with a rookie quarterback. I think it's a smart move. What do you think? Breeze Raider Nation, you know what I think. I mean, come on. You're obviously a football guy. Kurt Kubiak and the entire Kubiak family is known for their ability to groom quarterbacks. So I would absolutely be on board with that. Jim Garrison, Tom Brady, can't trust him, don't like him, never did, I hate him. Jim, I don't trust him either, and I'll be honest with you, I would just go with instincts. I mean, the guy has no experience at doing this, none. And just because he can put a suit on, fold his arms, and look real serious on the sideline, that's not coaching. That's not GM work. That's not managing cap space. There's a ton of things that he doesn't know that he doesn't know. The only a-hole was Callahan. Michael Fortune, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. The real question is, why in the bloody hell does that bleeping goddamn son of a bleeping put foots in him? Brady have a damn thing to say about our coach or anything else. My head of security is feisty tonight. Larry Brooks Jr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. All right, so let's just go into another quick thing real quick. Okay, so now here's our order. If anyone wants to write down our draft picks and know what they are, I'm going to give them to you right now. So I'll give you 10 seconds to get ready. If you want to write it down or just record it with your cell phone or who knows what. Okay, so I'll give you just a few more seconds and then I'll go over that with you guys because I think it's pretty interesting myself. Okay, so we have 10 picks overall. Obviously, we pick first in the first round, but then right after that, we pick first in the, well, virtually first in the second round. Only 3 teams will pick ahead of us in the second round. So we're the third pick in the second round. So we have the first pick in the first round, third pick in the second round. Then in the fourth round, we have pick number 102. Then we have 2 more fourth round picks after that. So pick in the fourth round, number 102. Then number 117, and then number 134, all in the fourth round. That is massive. First, because the second pick at 36 and the third pick at 67, basically you're opening the choices of who the best person is left in that round for the first, second, and third will be virtually be picking first in all of those rounds. So that's incredible. Then when you get to the fourth round, you're not that far off from picking high again in the fourth, and then 2 more fourths, and then even that, the last fourth pick we have is at number 134, and then right after that, at the 5th pick, we have number 174. That's only 48 picks later. Okay, remember, there's 32 teams in the league, so that's just over the first. Everyone in the league would get their pick, and then like maybe 3 teams ahead of us, and then we pick. This is a massive draft, not because of the talent in it, but because of the picks we have. If we can nail these picks, the experts will come back one day and go, hey, the Raiders may have won 3 Super Bowls, but you know how they did it? 3 more Super Bowls, but you know how they did it? You see those picks they made in the third and the fourth? Those 4 or 5 picks from 3, 4, 4, 4, and 5. Those 5 picks, we can change this team. Okay, and then 2 6th-round picks, and they're almost back-to-back at 182 and 185. There's your jump right there, where you're going to be able to get 2 really good offensive linemen, or at least 1, if anything. And then round 7, number 219. Not necessarily the greatest pick, but when is a round 7 pick? A great pick anyway. Not to mention, we could package the 7, one of the 6s, and a 4 if we wanted to be aggressive and move up again, and still have 2 4s and a 5 and a 6. That's crazy. And that's before the compensatory picks have been announced. So we're in really, really good shape right now. This draft is crucial that we get it right. Gabe Perez, what's up, brother? Welcome from Texas. Appreciate the love. When we draft Fernando Mendoza, I'm going to get his jersey. The first chance I get. Got a Brock Bowers jersey recently. Nice. Keep up on those jerseys. I like that. Who do you think is the favorite to be the next coach of the Raiders? Well, I have no idea. Now, I'll give you one candidate that's already come up. Tom Brady, I guess, went and had a little bit of a conversation with Brian Flores. It started to spark some rumors that maybe he's letting Brian Flores, letting him know, don't just pick the first team that comes calling because, the Raiders might have a real lucrative job for you here. Now, I don't know if that's what he'll do because so many people are saying, well, but Tom's a quarterback and he already showed interest in Ben Johnson at coach as an offensive coordinator. Is he going to like the fact that Brian Flores is a defensive coordinator? Would he really choose him? Now, at first, I did say it just feels like Tom Brady's going to be able to point to him and say, hey, I was honoring the Rooney Rule. You know what I mean? Let's hope not. You know what I mean? But as a black man, I'm skeptical. But I would say this, though. His coach that he cut his teeth with and won all his Super Bowls with, defensive coach. So, there's going to be some part of him that's going to say, hey, I did do all my winning, though, with a defensive coach. So it may matter how he feels about Belichick. You know what I mean? He's never really taken a shot at Belichick. I've never, he's been retired a while now. I've never heard him say, oh, we should have, had a different coach, I would have won 2 more Super Bowls, something crazy like that. He never really said anything like that. Well, Bob, I don't mean to be short, but I wouldn't mind having Brian Flores. I think he would make a great coach. I don't know if any of you are watching remember it. Bob, you may remember it, but I was talking about him a while back. You know what I mean? When he was with the Dolphins, I wanted him. I thought he was a great coach then. I think he's a great coach now. Bobby Ware, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Omar Godoy, Bear, how would you feel about Mendoza's head coach leading the Raiders? Omar Godoy, I like the idea. I like it a lot. If you bring in someone from the college ranks, the kids are going to be able to relate to him a little more each time we do one of these drafts, and the veteran guys will just get used to him. I mean, you have to remember, Pete Carroll is a rah-rah college-style coach. He works more on strategy and emotion, whereas, we bring in this cat, and this Mendoza's coach, maybe he plays it a little bit more straight old-school football coach. Is there any scenario where Antonio Pierce could come back and coach the defense? No, Dustin King, to be honest with you, he was never really given a chance, just like Pete Carroll wasn't given a chance with us, because he never really had a chance so long as we were going to keep putting that offensive line and that offensive play calling by Chip Kelly that we couldn't block for. Jeremy Freeman said, trade down and trade Max, ride Geno 1 more year, spend a lot on O-line and secondary in the offseason. We'll be well over $120 million under the cap to spend. Take Book and LT with the trade down first-round pick and start to rebuild in the trenches. Draft a quarterback next year when the quarterback class is stronger. I don't know if too many teams believe in waiting for the quarterback next year, because everything in the NFL has been tuned to be more like NASCAR, where every year you're building a team to go after it every single year. That's why you see so many teams that every single year there's at least 1 or 2 teams that go from dead last to first in their division and they're in the playoffs. It happens all the time. So they want teams with that mentality. Put a squad together, make a run. Doesn't work? Okay, put another squad together, make it run. You know what I mean? And then if it's still not good, then maybe you tear it down and start over. And that's sort of what we're doing from quarterback. And I believe with the picks we have, plus the compensatory picks that we'll get later on, because remember, we should get a lot of those because we didn't have a good season. So we'll get some of those compensatory picks. Now, remember, we have 3 4s, a couple of 6s. You know what I mean? We'll be able to make moves. We don't necessarily have to move on Max. And to be honest with you, I don't like the idea of moving on Max. Someone has to be your sort of anchor to your franchise. If every player on the Raider roster who respects Max Crosby watches him go out the door, we'll become a barren team for a long time. There'll be a lot of super good players that will be like, no, I'm not going to the Raiders. Look how you guys did Khalil Mack. Look how you guys did Max Crosby. You know what I mean? Not even letting the guy finish their careers there. We used to do that. You know what I mean? We're the Raiders. We used to bring in a guy and then we were super loyal to him, and, he gets to play here until he can't anymore if he's good. You know what I mean? And obviously Max is one of the best in the league. So I don't understand that stance. To me, I would not trade down. I would challenge my coaching staff and my GM to get their butts in line and get the right men in the door, and let's go win some games. Not that trading down is a bad idea. I want to make that clear. I don't disagree with you, but I feel like we should trade down with picks that we have. Package our third, maybe in one of our 4s, and then get back a multitude of 4s and 5s and maybe a 6, and get more offensive linemen in that way. Because to me, offensive linemen, I don't care where you get him. If the guy is big and he's got good feet and he keeps the guy in front of him, I don't care if he's in the 2nd round or the 7th round. He's probably going to be a good offensive lineman. Raider Miguel said, what is it? 4 head coaches in 4 years. Things burn from the top down, not from the bottom up. So our franchise is being run by dysfunctional people, and they hide that from us because they don't want to look unprofessional, but they're unprofessional. Mark Davis and a lot of the people that he's had around him, and the idea that Mark Davis sometimes thinks he knows what other people don't, which is stupid. Because we're talking about Mark Davis, a guy who had multiple arrests when he was younger, who had a cocaine problem at one point when he was younger. God arrest Al Davis because he knew all about it. You know what I mean? That's why Al Davis never really promoted him in any way. The only time Mark really was in charge of anything was once Al finally died. And I'm not trying to make, light of Mark Davis. I'm sure he's a good guy. A lot of Raider fans have met him and they tell me he's a nice guy. You know what I mean? I met him on one occasion and it wasn't in a good situation. It was when they were leaving Oakland. And so I was pissed, you know what I mean? But then again, after seeing the economics of Oakland and everything else, it couldn't work. But that's why. Great response on Brady. Just because he's the GOAT quarterback doesn't mean he can manage or help out a team on the draft day or selecting a coach. No, and if you really think about it, it's as Raider fans, we're just sitting here just waiting to have another 5 years, 8 years of not being good because we got to sit there and take it. I mean, you guys got to understand it's going to be longer this time because Tom Brady's an owner. So he gets to act like, oh, it's not my fault they're not winning. I put good pieces out there. It's the coach. Oh, it's not my fault they're winning. I put a good coach out there. It's the pieces. We don't have enough wide receivers. They got injured. That's more Jerry Jones. But it'll be sort of like that, you know what I mean? Where he's just basically throwing the whatever and whoever under the bus. I mean, does anyone really say fire Mark Davis for hiring Josh McDaniels? No, because no one, he's not gonna fire himself. Same thing with Tom. He's just gonna always act like, oops, let's do it again. Britney Spears reference. If Burrow is available to go after him or Mendoza or just save dollars. Burrow to me is a smart option, or Lamar Jackson, because with the Ravens losing the way they did against the Steelers, that might be changing the situation in Baltimore, because they were kind of looked at as, this is your last run to show us, Coach Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, that you guys can really do this. And, the Steelers gave it to him. Shut up, Peggy. Hi, Tim. Hi, babies. Howie Long would have made a great general manager for the Raiders. Well, Glenn Ford, see, I don't know that. I like Howie, but I don't know that. I don't know enough about him. Just because he can wear a nice suit and he was a great player, I mean, come on. He doesn't stand apart from Tom Brady in that way. They're both football players. There's so much more to the aspects of these jobs that I just think they don't understand. Michael Fortune said it best. No. I like that one. This draft could jumpstart our team for the next 10 years or set us back another 10. Well, King Juice, what's up? Welcome to the show. And by the way, I know I just said that, so we're agreeing, but I would say this to you, though. I really, really think there's a chance here. You have to remember a third and 1, 2, 3, fourth round picks. Okay, stars are in the third and the fourth round. Stars. If you can get one of those guys, or at least hit on those picks, the third and the 3 4s. Third and the 3 4s. If you hit on the third and the 3 4s, it doesn't matter what we do with in the number one, obviously a quarterback. But if you hit with the 3s and the 4s, with the one number 3 that we have in the 4s, you're there. Did everyone get that? I'll do it one more time. The 3s and the 4s. Why don't we have the first pick in the second round? Was there already some kind of trade? No, I don't think so, Joe. I just think it was the way the draw was set up. But we really are kind of in the top. I think we have the top 3, like the third or fourth pick in the second round. Pete Almeida said, who do you think will get to coach? Well, it's too early to say. I'll have a target that Tom Brady's looking at. You know what I mean? Once I get to look around on the news, but do a little research, make a couple phone calls, reach out to one of my snitches, and then I'll be able to give you a better answer. Because there's going to be a lot of guys available. I mean, there's going to be guys available. I just don't know how many of them Tom Brady will see at. Sorry, I'm looking at all my things here because I know I had a tab up on my computer that I was looking at coaches that are available, but I know that kid Brady. I like him. Who's the other guy? The offensive coordinator. Oh God. Well, I mean, that Brady was an offensive coordinator, but I'll do. I'm going to be on tomorrow night. I'll give you a list. So come back for me. I know it's just because we need it, but this can really be a legendary draft class for us if we do it right. Daniel Hebenstrike. My favorite German. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I love his name. I still want Kingsbury as head coach. Now you're talking about the same cat that got the job with the Cardinals. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming him for not having success at the Cardinals. I mean, it's the Cardinals. I mean, they're perennially bad. You know what I mean? I think I'm allowed to laugh at them. It's like the Jets. You know what I mean? I'm allowed to laugh at them. They have won Super Bowl back when dinosaurs walked the earth. You know what I mean, I wasn't alive. I'm an old man now, and I wasn't alive when the Jets won their first Super Bowl. That's so hard. I do have a friend that's a Jets fan, and he does not like it when he sees me coming. I won't lie. Raiders need an entirely new roster. It's by far the most talentless roster in all of football. This is 100% rebuild. Bowers, Genty, and Max, and a bunch of scrubs. Well, you just said it right there, Jeremy. Bowers, Genty, and Max. That's the only thing I want you to keep. That's it. And then you rip the rest right down to the studs. I'm just glad we're going to finally see the end of Malcolm Kuntz. I want to see Malcolm Kuntz go somewhere, suck, and be out of the league. I want to confirm that it was never us. It was always him. He never reached his potential, and he needs to get out of here. He's a bum. Peggy again. Why does she announce herself? I'm just kidding. I know why you do. Otherwise, I would think it was Tim. I'll be honest and say that we should have lost that game last night, and I can't believe Airhead Rodgers made through the season. We're probably one and done in the playoffs. Peggy, obviously I don't want to compliment your team or your quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers is just one of those guys. Once he gets to the playoffs, he's playing with Vegas money. At any moment, he has what some football people refer to as gifted arm talent. He has gifted arm talent. He's not a normal quarterback. He's not. Aaron Rodgers is elite, one of the best ever. And I mean that seriously. Now, not the best ever, like, is he better than Joe Montana or some of the other guys, Ken Stabler and things like that? No, but what I mean is he has a gift in his ability with his arm that goes beyond a lot of those guys. The only other guy I'd say that had an arm like that was like Warren Moon, John Elway. There were some other big gunslingers. Brett Favre that I'm missing, but he can throw the rock. You know what I mean? And he can throw it from awkward angles. He can throw it off balance. He just across his body, doesn't matter. And he puts touch on the ball. That's the other thing. Just feathers the ball in there. So when you guys win, you win. You know what I mean? He's good. And in the playoffs, he's going to be dangerous. The Raiders play at Santa Clara Niners next season. I might go, Bear. You should go. I would like that. We better not trade down and not pick Mendoza. I think it's a stupid move. No. Raider Miguel, no, that's not what he meant. He's saying get your quarterback, then trade down. And I'm not against that. For example, you pick up Mendoza, everything you get up after that is you're fitting in pieces. Okay, we have a lot to do on our offensive and defensive lines. We really do. We have a lot of work to do. We've got to get at least 2 competent offensive linemen, 2 that can start if needed, and 2 that can really, hold the line. If someone goes down, they can come in and fit in for injuries, because you're always going to have offensive linemen and defensive linemen go down. They take the most hits, they take the most damage, and they put out the most damage. So you got to be able to buff up that line. Okay, now you did say about Cliff Kingsbury. I was kind of debating that. I like Brian Flores, but Cliff Kingsbury is more of an offensive coordinator. I got to say, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. If they brought him in, I don't mind that. He doesn't really have a bad reputation as far as I'm concerned. He was stuck with the Cardinals. I don't judge teams by the franchises they land on. I mean, look at what happened to Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was the premier defensive coordinator in all of football with the Niners. He had them running around like killers. Then he went to the Jets and just sucked, the whole time he was there. And now where is he? Back with the Niners again, making a defense that's killing fools. And so it's not like he forgets how to call a football game or how to coach players. It's just you were stuck with the Jets. Maybe they didn't open the purse as much. Maybe they didn't, invest in trades that he wanted to do, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever the reasons why they didn't make it. They didn't make it. That's it. But that doesn't make him a bad coach. I'd be okay with Flores as head coach and Daboll as offensive coordinator. Now, I actually did hear a scenario like that where we were going to bring in Daboll with someone. I can't quite remember. It may have been Flores, but yeah, I know Daboll would be someone that Tommy Boy would be interested in. Yeah, no, Geno Smith's gone. King Eddie Willis, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Salute to the Raider Bear. I like Brian Flores as head coach and offensive coordinator whose scheme is 15 Mendoza friendly. Okay. I want Adams back and Tyler Lockett. Jamal Adams actually did play well, converting him to linebacker. I thought he did play pretty well, considering what we were asking him to do. He was already playing above his body. And Tyler Lockett, you know, whatever he's got left, we can get it out of him, I think. It would be good to give a young quarterback a veteran wide receiver like that. Devon Johnson said, damn, you said it. Gabriel Davis, I absolutely believe Max is coming back, no doubt. Max has 2 years at a high level left, at most one more knee injury away from being marginalized. Jeremy, don't get me wrong. I don't want to seem like I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just simply saying that I don't see that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't think that he has 2 years. I would say more like 4 because of his age. And if he gets injuries, that doesn't make you, correct. It's guys get hurt in the trenches. You know what I mean? If he doesn't, it doesn't make me right. You know what I'm saying? I think as my viewer and your host, I think we mostly agree. I do think we should trade down. I do think we should move down off of maybe that 3 and a couple of those 4s and pile up some more 4s and 5s or whatever. But I would really like to see more bodies get in, but I do think you need to get a quarterback. You have the number 1 pick now. You're saying pick the quarterback next year. We don't know if we'll be able to pick the quarterback next year. And remember, before this first round pick for the last 3 drafts, we've been trying to get high enough to get a quarterback, and we haven't been able to. You know what I mean? So you want to go another year where we don't get a quarterback and then maybe go through another drought of seasons where we can't get a quarterback or get in line in the draft to get a quarterback? No way. Everything fell in line for it to be Mendoza. I think it should be Mendoza or Moore. I want to make it clear. I'm not off of Moore. I don't think Moore is a bad player. I just like Mendoza's intangibles. Rodney Fuller says Max should be a lifelong Raider. I agree. Bill, I did want Hendrickson from the Bengals, but I know they re-signed him, but I don't know how long they re-signed him. So like, if it's a 2-year deal, he could be available maybe for a trade. I don't know. Anthony Vargas said, get Kubiak. I'm on board with that. I'll be honest with you. I want to be controversial and disagree, but if you said John Gruden, I would give you a lot of disagreement. But in this instance, Kubiak, I like the Kubiak family. Ellis Irving says, hey, Bear, how are you on this blessed Monday, Raider for life? I appreciate that, brother. Much love to you. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great. God bless you. Trade for Joe Burrow. I don't mind that. And for those of you who want to step in and say, oh, but what about the injuries? Don't. You know, every quarterback has injuries or doesn't. You know, you deal with what you can get. And to me, if you can get him as a veteran and then build up this offensive line for him, he might be able to do some things for us. And we may not need to have Mendoza out there right away. And guys, that's actually a good thing. You don't want to run your super young puppy quarterback out there all the time. Yes, it works sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't. A lot more often, it doesn't. You don't want to take a dump on their confidence is what that really does. We just need to get our QB and fix the line and get the right coaching staff. We're not far off from being a playoff team. Well, Rodney, that's a lot of ifs, though. The quarterback if is in place. We can get whoever we want. Okay, so let's put that out of the way. Then you said, then your second thing was fix the line. We have enough picks with that 3rd and 3 number 4 picks to do that. Plus, I would even use that late 7th round pick since the offensive lineman depth is huge in this draft, and the defensive end depth is pretty big. So I would maybe use a 6, because I believe, let me double check. I think we have 2 6s. Yes, we have 2 6th round picks. I would use the first 6th round pick to get someone better at defensive end to get off of Malcolm Kuntz. And then you have another 6 and a 7 to potentially bolster up the offensive line even further. In that case, if we did that, then you're right. We wouldn't be far off. The Raiders still haven't recovered from the Gruden debacle, lost any identity they finally built. Yeah, Jeremy, I would have to agree with that. If we take a quarterback with our first pick, we damn well better take the best defensive end available with our second, and I'll die on that hill. All right, so I did bring this up for you, buddy, when wait a minute, where's that at? That's the draft order. Where's my defensive ends? Okay, there we go. Get this little commercial off here. Okay, now the guy I was looking at that I thought was someone we could target is Keldrick Falk of Auburn. Now, there's a good chance he's not going to be on the board because he's considered the third best defensive end in the country. But then I saw the one of my favorite names that I can barely pronounce. Mateo Uegale of Oregon, defensive end, 272 pounds, 6'5", runs a 4.85 40. Pretty nice. And he has an 87.5 and he is considered the 9th overall best defensive end in the country. He brings a blend of raw pass rush ability and a developmental upside to the draft. His journey from rotational freshman to sophomore has been impressive. So I like him. And then you also have Cassius Howell, Texas A&M, 248 pounds, a little bit lighter side, 6'2". He has the speed and power to convert that made Howell dangerous in college, become both of his greatest assets and biggest question marks at the end. He could play the quarterback. Can he play the run consistently? Yada, 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 yada. So I'm just looking at these top guys. There's quite a few guys in these early parts of the defensive ends available. 6 jumps up, 5, 6, 9. So there's quite a bit. I see 12 different defensive ends here on the list that are all in the high 80s as far as their overall score, 85.9. So not too bad. We shouldn't have too hard a time finding a defensive end. Jay Alvarez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Salute you right back, Arnie. Welcome to the show, Arnie Garza. Mark Davis has proven himself to be a great business owner, and that's all. Yeah, King Eddie Willis, he raised the total value of the team with what he did in the move and developing the stadium. I can't fault him for that. You know, we went from 1 point whatever billion to, I think, 5.35 billion or something like that. We like quadrupled our value overnight. It's crazy. Jimmy Mata, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Okay, question. Who was our most improved player on offense, on defense for our Raiders? I thought Jeremy Chin at safety started to become a lot more of a good tackler. He seemed to try to make plays on balls, and he would miss, and then they would get completed passes. So it was kind of frustrating because he would try to use his speed to undercut a throw or a route to get to the ball, and he wouldn't be there, and he would forsake the tackle in some instances where he could have just slowed down, lined himself up with the wide receiver and brought him down. But then as the year went on and he came back from injury, I actually saw a lot of improvement in him. On offense, it's Ashton Genty or Brock Bowers, one or the other. But if I were to go away from those two, I would say Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer finally started to show some signs of what we saw from him in college and what the reason was that we drafted him. We need Fernando Mendoza, not Jackson, sleeping in meetings. Not good. Well, yeah. Dorothy Bell, hi, love. Welcome to the show. To use your words, I do believe I speak for all of Raider Nation when I say, put foots in, Brady. Peggy, you stop that. Stop making me like you. You do not get to put foots in things. I would like to give draft picks to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. That would be hard to pass on. That would be hard to pass on. In all honesty, I don't know if we give up the number 1 pick, but I would give up a lot if you could pair Mendoza with Lamar Jackson. But then again, is Mendoza really going to learn anything from Lamar Jackson? I mean, they're totally different quarterbacks. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a good fit. Anthony Vargas likes the quarterback from Ole Miss. Okay. Anthony, I think that you're thinking of, I can't remember his name now. Hold on. No, that doesn't look like Miss. I'm looking at their logos. Oh, whoops. I'm way off. Where's my page at? Okay. Ooh, stop showing me commercials. We're almost there. Okay, here we go. Trinidad Chambliss isn't getting drafted to be a franchise savior, but teams searching for a developmental backup with a legitimate dual threat. I like his weight at 200 pounds of 6'1", like the 4.45. Now, see, if we picked up Lamar Jackson and then went after Trinidad Chambliss, now you'd be talking about something. Now those guys will play relatively similar, so that you might have something there. If we made that happen, you might have something there. Those two could work together. Junior Jimenez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Raider Bear, you cracked me up with your blah, blah you did. I was about to take my medicine. It was hilarious. Edna Lynn, what's up? Welcome to the show, Edna. Edna, that's old school. I like that. Jay Alvarez, what's up, Jay? Welcome to the show. Appreciate the love when you were at the game wearing my medallion. That's my boy. Oh, from the Philippines. Wow. Appreciate the love, Edna. Question. I feel like Spytek planned for us to get the first round pick, salary cap heaven, play calling head coach. He evaluated our rosters perfectly in the offseason for the tank job. Is this true or false? It's very likely true, Arnie Garza. And he was probably completely on board with Tom, because remember, they came from the Buccaneers where they did the exact same thing. When Tom got there to the Buccaneers that very first season, they did whatever he asked. And he was talking about roster stuff. He was changing the offense, and then they went and won a ring with him. That Ken doll son of a monkey. Okay, be wild if the Ravens let go John Harbaugh and then comes out west and Jim and John are division rivals. That would be crazy, Jeremy. And we would have the better Harbaugh. We would have the better Harbaugh. I would bet money on that. Anthony Contreras, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. He says, hello, little bear. Wait a minute. How am I the little bear? I'm 6'3". I doubt you're 6'3". I'm older than you. I'm pretty sure looking at your picture, I'm older than you. You would give us the truth gift, this good pick, head coach, or whoever it is. Yeah, Anthony, I got to be honest with you. I would like it to be Brian Flores or one of the other offensive coordinator, maybe even the one with the Buffalo Bills. I would kind of like to see that. Devon Johnson, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Whoa. Am I seeing Rodgers hate here? Louis Renault, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. How can there be hate here? I just said he's one of the best. He's a total arm talent, I said. Come on, man. Sorry, spell checker, Raider Bear, in the playoffs. Would give us the truth. Give this get to playoffs. Head coach for okay, Anthony. Honestly, if you look at the offense, the ones we've picked with Brock, with Ginty, okay, then Jack Beck, Dante Thornton. With now he'll have a full camp and everything with more maturity coming out of his rookie season, having learned about how defenses can cut off his routes and make him irrelevant. Dante Thornton struggled in the second half of the year. They've got to get him on the right page. Jack Beck just didn't get enough balls thrown his way. Michael Mayer's starting to come around. We have a lot of weapons. If you can get a competent quarterback, we could be in the playoffs like that. Louis Renault, I'm not arguing with that. I was just giving my other guest, Peggy, a hard time because she's a big Steelers fan and because Rodgers is a jerk, like a super industrial strength jerk. Putting foots in him. No, and Louis, just trust me, I'm not trying to get you hot. I respect Rodgers. I don't like him as a person, but as a football player, he's undeniable. Do you give the 5th year option to Tyree Wilson? He looked like a first rounder against backups. No, I'm moving off Tyree Wilson immediately. I'm trying to trade him immediately. Aaron Rodgers is a top 10 all-time most annoying football players of all time, has a very punchable face. Oh man. East Oakland Raider Nation Black Hole. Nice. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Question. We have 23 free agents on our team. Who do you resign? And high priority extensions? Let's see. Where's my list of where's those guys at? Okay. The following 12 guys are on our future reserve list. Running back Chris Collier, guard Clendon McCurtis, linebacker Jamin Davis, wide receiver Philip Dorsett II, defensive tackle Trevin Mai, tackle Joshua Miles, tight end Albert Akwangbanam. Yes, that's a real name. Brendan Rice, wide receiver, Layden Robinson, guard, Justin Shorter, wide receiver, Laki Tassi, offensive line, and Dalton Wagner at tackle. A lot of those I like. I like that we brought Laki Tassi back. I like Dalton Wagner a lot. He looked good in camp. The linebacker Jamin Davis, like him a lot. And Brendan Rice, the other wide receiver. Very nice. The Jets suck. Well, that's the truth. Yeah, Troy Gill, I'm not. I'm off. I'm off of Tyree Wilson completely. I didn't like it when we drafted him. Is Colton Miller coming back next year? We gave him more money this past year. And what? Okay, there we go. We gave him more money this past year, and he was out injured most of the year. Can he still be good if he comes back healthy next year? Yes, he can. No doubt about it. Tony Make It Dip. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Bear! Reyes, Antonio. The rumor was Flores and Daboll with Brady at the helm since he had a history with them. Reyes, Antonio, I did see that. I'm not against that. I think Daboll would be good at that. Or good with that because he's got to re-up his resume having had his struggles with the Giants as head coach. And Brian Flores, because I like the way he both commands a defense and gets into his players. Although he does have a habit of going zero blitz a lot more than I'd like, but I do still like Brian Flores. Ramon Gallegos, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. What's up, Bear? It's been a while. Hope you and the family are doing well. Much love. We are doing well. I appreciate the love. Always with the clean hats. Hey, I had to match up the code, man. Right? Let's see. Whoops. I just don't love Mendoza. Well, Jeremy, I get that. I'm just talking about intangibles. That's all. If you liked Moore as the better player, I can completely understand with that. I can completely understand that. So, absolutely understand that. All right. There we are. There it is. And there it goes. All right. That's my show. Much love. Remember to consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe to Raider Bear Live. And if you have the time, and if you have time, go ahead and share the show. Mama Bear, you stop laughing at me right now. R8RBEAR! Woo! Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Oh, I gotta go. The apple tartlets are right out of the oven. That sounds like a sexual reference. They're not going to believe me unless you let them see them. Oh, yeah, the tartlets. They sound like heartlets. I love it. All right, I got to go. I got to get my heart broken. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Raider Bear family page. Peace.